Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Steffy and Daphne modify their strategy, and Finn attacks Poppy. Finn confronts Poppy in his office of knowing all along that he was Luna's father. She maintains that she wasn't certain. "Luna is my daughter," says Finn. "She is my daughter." He is aware that she didn't want him to take the test. "Be honest with me. You've been aware of it the entire time, but you've hidden it from me. Luna's father is me." Luna approaches Bill's house and retrieves a framed picture of Will. She grabs a snack for herself and murmurs about eating her emotions when she hears Will and Electra conversing at the door. They enter, and she skedaddles. Will is informed by Electra that the grounds are enormous and lovely. Luna peeks out from behind a wall as Will yells for his father. Steffy tells Zen that he's doing some of his best work in the design firm. They discuss waiting for the end of Hope and Carter's rule to come. If she gets her way, he's confident that will happen shortly. Zen believes Steffy is being proactive when she responds, "Not soon enough." According to Steffy, everything is in place, it just needs to work itself out. He inquires if she has created a barrier for them. "It's more akin to a wrecking ball," she explains. The end of their rule will be welcomed by Zend. He regrets learning about Carter's fate. Steffy will only respond that she's giving Hope a taste of her own medicine when he inquires about the extent of her plan. It's efficient without being unduly complex. Zend discovers that, with the assistance of a close friend, she has taken matters into her own hands. Hope tells Daphne and Carter in the main office, "It smells intoxicating in here." Daphne describes it as intimate and intoxicating. "Intimate, what did I just walk in on?" thinks Hope. Carter gives a tense smile. Carter had to smell the scents since the skin heats them, according to Daphne. At Carter's request, Hope chooses to weigh in and sniffs Daphne's neck. Hope informs him, "We are always so in sync," after they both agree on the same one. As Hope discusses the launch and how it relates to the bedroom line, Carter tells her, "I know what you like, and your opinion matters a great deal to me." Daphne watches. Daphne comments on their rapid expansion into new markets. Carter talks about having huge dreams, and it's good to have someone who shares that vision. Will informs Electra at Bill's house that his father isn't there, but strangely, he appears to have prepared himself some food in the kitchen. Electra asks him whether he believes something is happening while they are sitting there. Will shrugs and says, "I'm not sure." From the upper landing, Luna smiles, perhaps he's working on a top-secret project. Poppy tells Finn at his office that what they had in common was unique and lovely. She repeatedly told Finn that it was not feasible for him to have the child. The test must be a false positive, according to Poppy. Reiterating that Luna is his daughter, Finn takes out the second test. "However, you were already aware of it, weren't you?" Steffy once more praises Zen's work in the design office. "It's unfortunate," he argues, "because they will never start manufacturing." According to Steffy, they might, but not for the sake of hope for the future. When Daphne knocks and enters, Steffy presents him to Zend, who tells her she's attractive. Daphne informs her buddy that the Forrester men never let her down as he takes off. When Steffy requests an update, Daphne responds that she has been seeing Hope and Carter and is beginning to see how genuinely linked they are. They are like two peas in a pod, but she tells Steffy that she will still carry out her plan. "More like two thieves," Steffy remarks, concluding that the plot might not be as straightforward as she initially believed. They must attempt an alternative strategy. Perhaps it would be better to talk to his conscience and let him see that Hope is taking advantage of him. Hope and Carter are amazed when Daphne Rose lands in their laps in the main office. The cosmos is in their favor. They share a kiss. Hope is ecstatic about Carter's ability to grow and improve the business. The man in her arms is solely responsible for it. Carter frowns when they embrace after making out. Luna listens with a smile at Bill's house as Will informs Electra that his father is behaving withdrawn, as if he doesn't want other people there. His refusal to enter Spencer is a serious red flag. He believes he is still processing what happened. Bill admits that he became attached to the girl he believed to be his daughter. When it collapsed and he discovered that Luna Nozawa wasn't, in fact, his daughter, it was a devastating blow. Where is Luna now? Electra queries. In prison, Will responds. Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and beautiful today channel. Paternity testing are reliable. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. She must have been aware. Before we begin, don't tell me lies. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Poppy maintained she was unaware. Steffy and Daphne modify their strategy. Poppy didn't want to believe it and couldn't allow it to be true. Finn confronts Poppy in his office, but you suspected, of knowing all along that he was Luna's father, says Finn. She maintains that she wasn't certain. I am Luna is my daughter, says Finn. Poppy apologizes profusely. She is my daughter. He is aware that she didn't want him to take the test. Attempting to keep me safe, with me, Poppy was unable to ruin his life. You've been aware of it the entire time, he has his entire life ahead of him and aspires to become a doctor. Luna approaches Bill's house herself and retrieves a framed picture of Will. The question or have it be true. She grabs a snack for herself and murmurs about eating her emotions when she hears Will and Electra conversing at the door. She claims that she did everything she could for his wife, family, and career. Will is informed by Electra that the grounds are enormous and lovely. He assures her that she is correct Luna peeks out from behind a wall as Will yells for his father and family. Steffy tells Zen that he's doing some of his best work in the design firm. He shouts. They discuss waiting for the end of hope and Carter's will to come. There's only one thing that I have a problem with. If she gets her way, he's confident that will happen shortly. And you took my daughter away from me. Steffy is being proactive when she responds. Loses it when Poppy explains why she kept Luna's paternity a secret and how Daphne's seduction affected Carter. It just needs to work itself out. Hope interrupts Carter in a private moment she has created a barrier for them. And Finn confronts Poppy with the paternity test results. It's more akin to a wrecking ball, she explains. Finn confronts Poppy in his hospital office. The end of their role will be welcomed by Zen that he was Luna's father. He regrets learning about Carter's fate. Poppy says she didn't know for sure. Steffy will only respond that she's giving Hope a taste of her own medicine withheld the truth when he inquires about the extent of her plan. She has known all along, but hasn't told him. Without being unduly complex. Poppy pretends to cry. Zen discovers that, had never needed with the assistance of a close friend, so she has taken matters into her own hands. Finn remembers that she told him repeatedly and Carter that it was impossible to know if the child was intoxicating in here. She knew Luna was his. Daphne describes it as intimate and pulling out the two paternity tests. Intimate. What did I just claim? She couldn't let it be real and didn't know for sure. Carter gives a tense smile. Poppy didn't want to ruin his aspirations for his life. The skin heats them, according to Daphne. Finn claims that although he has a wonderful career, Carter's request, a wife, Hope and chooses to weigh in. He has one problem. Daphne's neck. After all this time, Hope informs I had a daughter. We are always so in sync. She took her away after they both agree on the same one. As he yells, Poppy starts crying. As Hope discusses the launch and how it relates to the bedroom line, as Carter tells her, I know what you like, and your opinion matters a great deal to me. She gets up and looks at Will's picture. Daphne watches. As she digs in, Daphne comments on their rapid expansion into new markets. She hides and flees Carter when she hears Will and Luna's voices from the patio. And it's good to have someone who shares that vision. Electra brags about how big the grounds are. Will informs Electra at Bill's house that his father isn't there. Strangely, when he checks, he discovers that his father prepared meals for himself in the kitchen. Electra asks him whether he believes something is happening while they are sitting there. He believes his dad is working on something top secret. I'm not sure. After Electra makes fun of him. From the upper landing, Luna when she asks him why he thinks he's working on a top secret project. He tells her that his father doesn't spend much time at work. Poppy tells Finn at his office even though he is there that what they had in common that he has a bedroom separate from his office. She repeatedly told Finn that how he felt attached to him to have the child and how it was difficult for him when it ended. The test must be a false positive. Will tells her everything about Luna, whom she says she has never heard of, is his daughter. While Luna watches from the stairs. Takes up a second test. In the design area, you were already aware of it, review his drawings, and talk about when they will regain control of their work in the design office. Zen believes she's taking the initiative, he argues, because they will never start manufacturing, she says cryptically. According to Steffy, despite the challenges, but not for the sake of hope they are unbeatable. When Daphne says she planted a wrecking ball Steffy presents him to Zen, herself, who tells her she's attractive. Zen is upset by Carter's Daphne fate because he was always that the Forrester men never let her down. Steffy believes it will benefit them. When Steffy requests an inquires about Daphne her activities, responds that she has been seeing Hope and Carter, that she is beginning to see how genuinely linked they are. It's not too difficult. They are like two peas in a pod. Years may pass before a legal resolution is reached. She discloses that a close friend is assisting her, concluding that the plot might not be as straightforward as she initially believed. Intoxicating in the CEO's office. They must attempt an alternative strategy. Daphne concurs, adding that perhaps it would be better to talk to his conscience and let him see that Hope is taking advantage of him. I just walked in on what Hope and Carter are amazed when Daphne is attempting to choose the scent that Forrester will wear. The cosmos is in their favor, weighing in on both because she's having a difficult time. Hope is ecstatic about Carter's ability to grow and improve the business. Hope
The
sends
man
the
in
other
her
side
side
and thinks the perfume is amazing. Carter frowns when they embrace after making out. As Daphne looks irritated,
Luna listens with
Carter
a smile
nods,
at Bill's
and Hope
house
assures
as will
him that they are
informs
always
Elektra
in
that his
sync.
father is behaving withdrawn,
By the summer,
as if
Hope
he doesn't
and Carter
want other
hope to
people
be able
there.
to display the product.
His refusal to enter
Daphne
Spencer
refers
is
to
a
him
serious
as a
red
visionary
flag
as they discuss their other
he
plans
believes he is
involving
still
handbags.
processing what happened.
Carter assures
Bill
her that
admits
having
that
a
he became
companion
attached
makes
to the
things
girl
easier.
he believed to be his daughter.
Zend is thrilled about this
When it
new
collapsed
line,
and
will
he
be
discovered that
disappointed
Luna
if it doesn't
Nozawa
go into
wasn't,
production.
in fact, his daughter,
Daphne
it was
enters.
a devastating blow.
Zend claims that
Where
her
is Luna
aroma
now?
precedes her
Elektra
and has heard
queries.
of the nose previously.
In prison, Will responds.
She describes him as attractive.
Finn assures
once he
Poppy
puts
at
on the
his
charm.
office that paternity
Daphne
testing are
informs
reliable.
Steffy that the Forrester men
She must
are
have been
reliable
aware.
once he leaves them alone.
Don't tell me lies.
Daphne describes the
Never
practice
again.
as enlightening when Steffy
Poppy
requests
maintained
it.
she was unaware.
Despite their strong
Poppy
connection,
didn't want to
she
believe
says
it
she will
and
carry
couldn't
out
allow
the
it to be
plan.
true.
So Finn
They are
yells,
referred to
but you
as two
suspected.
peas in a pod.
It's true,
Steffy
says
remarks.
Finn. More like two thieves.
Our daughter is
questioning
here.
whether they need a fresh
I am Luna's
perspective to
father.
demonstrate to Carter that
Poppy
Hope is taking
apologizes
advantage of
profusely.
him. Hope and
what?
Carter
He
talk about how
asks.
wonderful things are going
Attempting
and
to
how
keep
he has
me
changed
safe,
her life
Poppy
back
was
in the
unable to
CEO
ruin his
office.
life.
Hope
He
gives
has
him
his
more
entire
affection
life ahead
as they
of him
embrace
and
and aspires
kiss.
to become a doctor.
As they passionately make
She
out,
had to raise Luna
sultry music
herself
plays.
because she couldn't ask the question
He furrows
or
his
have
brow
it be
as they
true.
embrace after she reiterates
kept
what
Luna
he
a
has done for her
secret
life
so he could have a career.
Finn
Have you yet
thinks.
to join our Facebook groups
She
for
claims
soap
that she did
spoilers?
everything she could for his
Join
wife,
our groups,
family,
which are devoted
and
to
career.
recaps, spoilers,
It's for the
rumors,
best, says
gossip,
Finn.
and
He
comings
assures
and
her that
goings,
she is
to
correct
talk with
and
other
that he has a
soap lovers who
fantastic
share your
life,
interests.
wife, and family.
Visit our official group
He doesn't
for
have
bold
many
and beautiful
issues.
lovers.
There's only one thing.
Steffi's attention
He
is
shouts,
diverted from
I
her
had a
business
daughter.
by Finn's personal
There's
drama.
only one thing that I have a problem
Spoilers
with.
for the bold and the beautiful
All this
reveal
time.
that John Finn Finnegan's
And
Serene
you
Waters
took my
have
daughter away
vanished.
from me.
It seems
Finn
to have
loses it when
confirmed what
Poppy
he
had long
explains
suspected.
why she kept Luna's paternity
Luna
a secret
Nozawa
and
is
how
much
Daphne's
more than just a
seduction
cousin of
affected
Finn.
Carter.
Luna
Hope
is
interrupts
confirmed
Carter
to be
in a
Finn's
private
daughter
moment
by
with
the paternity
Daphne,
test
and
he
Finn
performed
confronts
using
Poppy
both
with the
her
paternity
and his blood
test
samples.
results.
Luna's
Finn's
latest
latest assertion
assertion
to
to Bill
Spencer
office
seems
of knowing
true
all
rather
along
than harsh
that he was
given
Luna's
Poppy
father.
Nozawa's habit of lying.
Poppy says she didn't know
But
for
regardless
sure.
of the truth,
Finn
Luna was
confronts
never
her
justified
and
in
demands to
killing
know
the
why
man
she
she
withheld
thought
the
was her
truth from him
father and another friend.
She has known all along,
Luna
but hasn't
Nozawa
told him.
isn't the year's best daughter.
Poppy pretends to cry.
In this version of Los
Lee
Angeles,
had never
California,
needed her assistance
reckless
before,
people use whataboutism
so she was happy
as
to
a
help.
tactic. Finn remembers that she
excuses
told him
for any
repeatedly
bad behavior
that it was
is a way
impossible
for
to
them
know
to
if the
turn their
child was
attention
his
from
their own behavior
She
to
knew
that
Luna
of
was
others.
his. He reiterates,
Luna bears
pulling out
full
the two
responsibility
paternity tests
for the deaths of Paul Hollis
Poppy
Hollister,
claims she couldn't
Hollis
let it be
W.
real
Chambers,
and didn't know
and
for
Tom
sure.
Starr.
Poppy's
Poppy's
way
way
of
of
ruin
life
his
and Luna's real
aspirations or his
upbringing
life
do not justify the crimes
Finn
Luna
claims
did out
that
of
although
her
he
own
has
free
a
will.
wonderful career, a wife,
It was
and
interesting
children,
that she
he
expressed
has one
regret
problem.
for Steffy Forrester Finnegan.
After all this time,
I had a
Luna
daughter.
claimed to know Steffy.
She took
not
her away
Tom
from
or
him.
Hollis.
When questioned
As
by
he
Bill,
yells, Poppy starts
that
crying.
refuted previous discussions
Luna
in
appears
which Hollis
disinterested
was allegedly
as she reads a
Luna's
magazine
friend,
at Bill's.
a claim that seemed to be short-lived.
Before she eats, she gets
Hope
up
Logan
and looks at
baited
Will's
Steffy
picture.
Forrester Finnegan.
As she digs in,
When
she
Steffy
laments
Hope
that she's
Logan
eating
bait
her
her
feelings.
she committed a terrible blunder.
She hides and flees when she hears
Steffy
Will
got
and
the
Luna's voices
anticipated
from the
reaction
patio.
from Hope's scathing remarks
While
in
Elektra
the design
brags
room
about how big the grounds are,
Hope is still
Will calls for his
dubious
father.
or even positive about Steffi's
Strangely,
motivations.
when he checks, he discovers
in
that his
contrast
father
to Lawrence
prepared
St.
meals
Victor's
for
character
himself in
Carter
the kitchen.
Walton, Hope feels no
He
remorse
brags
for
that
the
they have
Forrester
people
family.
for that.
She
He
believes
believes
that
his
the
dad
Logans
is
have been
working on
mistreated
something top
throughout the
secret
years
after Elektra makes
particularly
fun
her
of him.
mother.
When
By
she
claiming
asks him
that
why
she
he's
is openly
openly
opposed to
he tells
Carter's
her that his
takeover
father
but doesn't
genuinely
spend much
concerned
time
about
at work,
preserving her
even though
family's
he is there
heritage
so
and
frequently
investment
that he has a
interests.
bedroom
Wood's
separate
character
from
is
his
tempted
office.
to justify her response.
He talks about how he felt attached
However,
to Luna
if the recently
and how it was
appointed
difficult
president
for him
of
when it
Forrester
ended.
Creations
Will
responds to
tells
Hope
her
or
everything
others
about
too frequently,
Luna,
whom she says she
suspicion
has
may
never
grow.
heard of, while Luna
John
watches
Finn
from the
Finnegan
stairs.
verifies the truth.
In the design area,
In the meantime,
Zend and
he verified
Steffy
a paternity
review his drawings
truth
and talk about when they will regain control of
His
their
daughter
business.
is named Luna. Zend believes
His life
she's
is
taking the
instantly
initiative
altered
by that shocking
The
revelation.
pieces are in place, she says
Therefore,
cryptically.
Naturally, he must, or at least
despite
ought
the
to,
challenges,
tell
Hope
Steffi about
and
it.
Carter believe they are unbeatable.
Naturally, when Steffi
She
gets
says
that
she
big
planted a
relay,
wrecking
she will be
ball
thrown
after
off
correcting
course.
herself.
When it occurs,
Zend is
the
upset
business
by
technique
Carter's
she is
fate
using
because
at
he was
FC
always
will
a
be put
strong
in jeopardy.
individual. However,
Steffi believes
that is
it
the
will
last
benefit
thing
them.
Steffi needs since she
When
is now
Zend inquires
implementing
about
a
her
multi-layered
activities,
rescue
Steffi
strategy to
responds
allow her
that she is
family
giving
to
Hope
reclaim
a
the
taste
company
of her
that
own
her
medicine.
grandmother,
Stephanie Forrester,
it's not too difficult.
and Grandpa, Eric Forrester,
Years may pass
created.
before a legal resolution
Will
is
Steffi's
reached.
plans fail as Zend and
She
Daphne
discloses that a
exchange
close
sparks?
friend is assisting her.
Zend Forrester
Hope
Dominguez will
informs
meet
Carter
the
and
captivating
Daphne
and
that it
distinctive
smells
Daphne
intoxicating
Rose during
in
the
the
week
CEO's
of February
office.
3rd to 7th, according to
Daphne
spoilers
concurs,
and
adding
updates
that
for
it's
the
both
bold and the
personal
beautiful.
and fascinating.
Could it be that Zend catches Daphne's attention
I just
while
walked in
she's
on
trying
what?
to win
She
over Carter
queries.
Walton, Lawrence St.
Carter
Victor?
is attempting to choose the
A
scent
charming
that Forrester
Forrester
will
guy
wear.
is Zend Forrester.
Daphne claims he's weighing
Fans
in on
cannot
both,
help but be
because he's having a
captivated by
difficult
Zend,
time.
the charming and attractive
Daphne
Forrester.
offers her neck when Carter asks
Daphne
her to take a
hasn't
whiff.
shown any genuine interest
Hope
in
sense
Carter
the other
yet,
side,
but her
and thinks the
relationship
perfume
with
is
Zend
amazing.
may be a different matter.
That one appeals to her more.
It would be nice to see Daphne
As
for
Daphne
who she
looks
really
irritated,
is, instead
Carter
of the inflated
nods,
image
and Hope
she
assures
usually
him that
puts
they are
on.
always in sync.
Daphne,
who
by
works
the
for
summer,
Steffy
Hope
Forrester
and
now,
Carter hope to
feels
be able
pressure
to
to
display
go
the
after
product.
Carter.
But her interactions
Daphne
with
refers
Zend
to
may
him
go
as
more
visionary
organically
as they discuss their other
Imagine
plans
if Zend
involving
and Daphne
handbags.
click right away.
Her
Carter
growing
assures
interest
her
in
that
him may
having a
quickly take her
companion
mind
makes
off of
things
her goals
easier.
with Carter.
Zend is
If
thrilled about
Daphne
this
Rose
new line
deviates from
and
the
will be
plan,
disappointed
Steffy
if it
Forrester
doesn't go
will
into
become
production.
frustrated.
Daphne
If Steffy feels
enters.
that Daphne is being
Zend
distracted
claims
from
that
their
her
main
aroma
objective,
precedes her
she may
and has
become
heard of the
frustrated.
nose previously.
She might also worry
She
about
describes
Zend
him as
trying to talk
attractive
Daphne
once
out
he
of their
puts on the
plan,
charm.
considering his generosity.
Daphne informs Steffy that the
Although Zend
Forrester
has
men
demonstrated
are
his
reliable
devotion
once
to the
he leaves them
Forrester
alone.
family, this does not
Daphne
imply that he
describes
will
the
back
practice as
Steffy's scheme to ruin Carter and Hope Logan's
romance.
Despite their strong
The fact
connection,
that Daphne
she says she
doesn't
will
actually
carry out
care
the
for
plan.
Carter adds to this worry.
They are referred to as two
If
peas
Zend
in
were
a
to
pod.
learn all the details,
Steffy
he may argue
remarks,
that Steffy
more like
and
two
Daphne
thieves,
are taking the wrong
questioning whether
approach.
they need a fresh perspective
Daphne
to demonstrate
Rose could be
to Carter
targeted
that
by
Hope is
Zend
taking
Forrester.
advantage of him. Zend might
Hope
lean
and
in
Carter
close to
talk
Daphne
about how
and
wonderful
encourage
things
her
are
to put
going
aside
and
her
how he is
desire
changed
to
her
woo
life
Carter
back
and
in the
instead
CEO
pursue a
office.
sincere relationship with
Hope
him.
gives him more affection
Zend
as
has
they
a lot
embrace
on the
and
line
kiss.
as the chief designer for
as
Hope
they
for the
passionately
future,
make out,
which could
strengthen
strengthen his
music
opposition
plays.
to the Daphne and Steffy's
He furrows
plots.
his brow as they embrace
Zend
after
has
she
strong
reiterates what
arguments
he has
against
done for her
Daphne's
life.
flirtation strategies since
Have you
he may
yet to join our
understand that if
Facebook
Steffy
groups for
regains
soap
her
spoilers?
power and permanently sidelines
Join our
Hope's
groups,
lying,
which
he
are
would lose
devoted
this
to
opportunity.
recaps, spoilers, rumors,
He might be
gossip,
inspired to
and
foil
comings and
Steffy's
goings.
ambitious intentions, since he is torn between protecting his profession and his affections for Daphne. Since he also has a lot at stake, Zend might even think about telling Hope and Carter about Steffy and Daphne's covert partnership if the need arises. For years, Carter had persuaded himself that he was finished. He had left that life behind, buried the memories, and created a new life for himself, one that was characterized by a respectable career, a solid reputation, and a place among those who regarded him as an honest guy. However, the past had a way of resurfacing, whispering in the back of his mind and reminding him of his true self. And Carter didn't think twice when the time arrived, when the chance came in a way that seemed almost predestined. He didn't think twice. He just performed what he did best, always. He was a killer. It was meant to be finished. He had promised himself that he would never return. He had locked everything up, including the taste of blood, the thrill of power, and the instant the world froze before he took a life. However, despite your best efforts to repress them, certain impulses never go away. Carter had committed murder before, and now he was doing it once more. To others, the trigger had been something trivial, something unimportant. A well-known name, an old voice, a reminder of unresolved matters. Initially, he had disregarded it, dismissing it as he had so often done. Then, however, everything began to come together, guiding him in an unavoidable direction. Perhaps it had just happened. It might have been fate. In any case, he had found himself back where he had vowed never to go. He had made an effort to wait. He had allowed himself some time to reflect, to talk to himself, to think of another approach. Carter, however, had known in his heart how things would turn out. Some folks weren't deserving of another chance. Some folks weren't worthy of leaving. And Carter had already pretended to be someone he wasn't long enough. The actual moment was nearly poetry. There was no uncertainty, no hesitation. He struck with the kind of accuracy that only expertise could provide. It took one quick, deliberate blow to end it. Finished, effective, and clean. He felt the surge right away, the typical sense of accomplishment and control that comes from knowing that he completed the task at hand. It was euphoric, nearly addictive. And Carter experienced something he hadn't let himself experience in a long time, for the first time in years. He was alive. However, reality struck in as the adrenaline started to wear off. He had gone too far and returned to the reality he had battled so hard to escape. And there was no going back now. once more, he had killed. And he knew one thing for sure, whether he told himself or not. This would not be the final instance. Luna had made an effort to persuade everyone of her transformation. She had mastered the knack of appearing contrite and letting her wide, naive eyes shine whenever someone inquired about her past. She did just enough good to keep people off her back, spoke quietly, and played the victim when needed. But the fact remained, Luna was still a monster, regardless of how often she smiled or how many times she vowed to have changed. And those who had been careless around her were going to have to pay a heavy price for it. Although she had kept her worries to herself, Steffy had been the first to suspect it. She didn't like something about Luna, something dark underneath that no amount of changed behavior could cover up. But the last thing Steffy needed was to launch a war on the basis of intuition. She had more important battles to fight. Knowing that Luna's actual nature would ultimately come to light, she had watched and waited. And it did, in fact. Initially, it was subtle, small details that didn't feel right. An odd coincidence here, a misplaced piece of jewelry there. There was always an explanation, a rationale for dismissing it. They'd say, "Oh, Luna wouldn't do that." Steffy knew better than to say, "She's different now." Individuals such as Luna remained the same. They changed and changed, yet fundamentally, they were still the same people they had always been. The incidents then became more serious. Inexplicably, someone's business arrangement abruptly fell through. The wrong individual was the recipient of a leaked intimate communication. Of all people, Finn became aloof and perplexed, as though he had lost his sense of what to believe. And all the while, Luna sat there grinning perfectly, as if she had nothing to do with the mayhem going on around her. However, Steffy wasn't the only observer. Despite her own shortcomings, Poppy had started to worry about her daughter's potential. She had been defending Luna for years, making up reasons, and filling in for her when needed. However, she now had to acknowledge that something was amiss. Luna's actions were more than merely errors. They were planned. Poppy's realization that she might no longer even recognize her own daughter grew as she gave it more attention. The moment when Finn's paternity was eventually revealed was the tipping point. Luna had been at the heart of it, controlling everyone and pulling strings in the background to make sure everything went her way. Who was harmed didn't matter to her. The consequences didn't matter to her. Her self-interest was her main concern. She also didn't flinch when everything ultimately blew out. She didn't say sorry. Like a queen surveying the remains of a vanquished empire, she only watched the devastation take place. Steffy had had enough. Steffy was aware of the reality, even if Luna may have persuaded everyone else that she was just a misunderstood woman attempting to figure out who she was. No one was safe as long as Luna was around, because she was still a monster. After playing the long game, Daphne Rose had Carter exactly where she wanted him. It hadn't been simple. As a man of principles, Carter Walton took great satisfaction in making moral decisions and in keeping his emotions under control. Daphne had spent months meticulously exposing his flaws, but even the strongest men had them. She knew the time had come now, as she stood in front of him with that alluring combination of brilliance, charisma, and just enough mystery to keep him interested. She had Carter. It had begun with modest, nuanced movements that even he would not have initially detected. A last look across the boardroom of Forrester Creations. She gave him a folder with a casual touch of her hand against his. When he needed a smile, it was warm and knowing. She had presented herself as someone he could relate to and trust. And she had gradually chipped away at the barriers he had erected around himself. Daphne could see in Carter's eyes that he had resisted it. He was hesitant since he didn't want to get too close or repeat his prior mistakes. Daphne, however, was patient. She had him on edge, just unsure enough to keep thinking about her and wanting more of her presence because she understood precisely when to push and when to back away. The night they found themselves alone after a long evening at Forrester was the first time she realized she had him fully. He had been under a lot of stress, preoccupied with his job, and burdened by yet another romantic letdown. And as usual, Daphne had been there, lending him a sympathetic ear and a reassuring pat on the arm. He didn't back down this time when she met his eyes. He got closer this time when she leaned in just a little. Daphne knew she had succeeded now that he was sitting opposite her, staring at her with that admiration and barely controlled want. Carter was entangled in her web, pulled in by an unstoppable force, just where she intended him to be. What's the best part? He still believed he made the choice. Daphne, however, was wiser. She had meticulously planned every second and performed every note of this symphony. Now that Carter Walton was hers, she would ensure that it happened the way she wanted it to.